Hi you two, and welcome to another English lesson. The title of today's English lesson is Explain. So you're going to be looking at a postcard from our text Meerkat Mail, and I'm going to give you a question and you need to explain your answer. Who can remember what we have to use when we are answering these types of reading questions? I've been on about it since you've been at home, and I know I went on about it a lot in class. So pause this video and see if you can tell the adult at home who's helping you with your home learning what we have to make sure we use. So hopefully you all said we need to use PEE. So when we're explaining in a reading answer, we have to make a point. So for example, if it said, explain how you think the meerkat was feeling, you would say, I think that the meerkat was feeling unhappy because something that's said in the postcard, so that would be your point. Then you have to have your evidence. So that is where you copy some exact words from the text to back up what you're trying to say. So if you're trying to say that he's feeling unhappy, well, what are the words in the text that are hinting that he is unhappy, that backs up your answer? It provides evidence for that point that you've just made. So we need a point, we need some evidence, and then you need to explain it a little bit further. So when you're explaining, it can be something that you've read previously in a previous postcard that's kind of linking all of the postcards together as to why he's feeling like that. So we need to make sure that we're using PEE, point, evidence, explanation, and that gives us a real good structure to our sentences, and it gets you ready for year 3 where you have to write some longer answers, and you're all coping really well with it. I've been really impressed with the ones that I've been sent in, so well done to those of you that have done that. So continue watching. I will show you how to answer a question, then I'll give you a new question that you can answer with the adult helping you with your home learning at home. Don't forget to send them in to me so that I can have a read over them. Okay? Okay, so at the top of my page I have the question that we're going to answer together, and it says, explain why Sunny moved away from the desert. And I've got to use my Meerkat Mail book to help me figure out the answer. So what I will do for you is I will take a photo of one of the postcards for you to be able to use, but remember there's always the video of me reading the story to you if you feel like you need to refer to another postcard or another part of the text. So I am looking not at a postcard, I'm looking at the note that he left his family. So let's have a look at that note. It said, Dear everyone, I'm off to find somewhere perfect to live. Don't worry Mum, I'll be staying with our mongoose relatives, so we'll be quite safe. Love from Sunny. P.S. I promise to write. So explain why Sunny moved away from the desert. Let's see if I can find any clues in the text to help me answer this question. So, dear everyone, I'm off to find somewhere perfect to live. Now that perfect is really standing out to me. He's put a border around it, he's put it in capital letters. That's telling me that he thinks that the desert where he's living at the moment isn't where he should be. It's not his perfect home. So to me, he doesn't quite feel like that's home to him. He feels like he might be suited or best suited somewhere else. So I need to use PEE, which I'm just going to write here just to remind myself. So my first sentence is going to say, I think Sunny feels he could find somewhere even better to live because the hot desert isn't, using a contraction there, perfect for him. So let's read that out. I think Sonny feels he could find somewhere even better to live because the hot desert isn't perfect for him. So that there is my P, in my P-E-E. So I now need to look at some evidence from the text. So I think the evidence for this one is quite obvious, isn't it? Because it really stands out to you. So my evidence, I'm going to put in the letter he leaves, it says, but in yours you would write in the postcard it says, because yours is going to be based on a postcard, but mine is based on this little note, this letter that he left. So in the, I'll call it a note, in the note he left, it said. Now remember, if I'm using some evidence from the text, I'm using a quote from the text, I have to use my quotation marks. So in the note he left, it said, I'm off to find somewhere, and I'm going to write perfect in capital letters because that's what he's done, somewhere perfect to live, because that's what he has said, and I've ended it with my quotation marks there. So that is my E in my P-E-E. So I've just got my explanation to go. Now in my explanation I want to refer back to something else that he says in the book. Remember I said that you can refer back to other parts of our text to help back up the point that you're trying to make. So it says, it is very dry and very hot. Sometimes Sonny thinks it is too hot. So that's going to be the first piece of my explanation. So I'm going to put, Sonny sometimes finds the desert too hot. I'm going to try and write a list of 3 here, so I'm going to put a comma. He sometimes finds it too hot. Let's refer back to my book again. And then it says, Sonny comes from a large family. They work together, play together, eat together, learn together, and sleep together. In fact, they do everything together. They are very close. Sonny sometimes thinks they are too close. So Sonny sometimes finds the desert too hot, finds his family too close, and let's have a look, and on this page here, sometimes Sonny wishes that he could live somewhere else, so he packs his suitcase and writes his family a note. So Sonny sometimes finds the desert too hot, finds his family too close, and wishes he could live somewhere else. And that forms the explanation part of my P-E-E. So let's just make sure I have answered that question. Explain why Sonny moved away from the desert. I think Sonny feels he could find somewhere even better to live because the hot desert isn't perfect for him. In the note he left, it said, I'm off to find somewhere perfect to live. Sonny sometimes finds the desert too hot, finds his family too close, and wishes he could live somewhere else. We've definitely answered that question and explained why Sonny might want to move away. So what I'd like you to do now is on the Google Classroom. I have attached a PDF document for you which works through part of the English Mastery Flow model. I would like you to have a go at that, and on there is an explanation question for you. So have a go at the explanation question following the PEE that I have just shown you, and don't forget to hand it in. Either attach a picture on the Google Classroom rather than just saying done. It's brilliant that you're doing it and you tell us that you've done it, but we'd really like to see pictures of that work so myself and Miss Collis can have a look at it. If you're unsure how to attach it on the Google Classroom, please send it across on Class Dojo. Just please make sure that you are sending us a picture rather than just commenting done. So myself and Miss Collis cannot wait to see the answers that you come up with. So have fun.